back, everybody, to another episode of Porch Talk. This is episode 36. This is their Week 9 preview. So we got two great players from Abingdon High with us. Got Lucas HONAKER and OWEN BARR. How you guys doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing good. For those of you that are listening that are not on the video, the way we're going to do this is whenever we ask a question, Luke is going to go ahead and answer first. Then the second, OWEN, we answer right after that. Well, let's go ahead and start it, guys. So we're going to start with our first question. When did you all fall in love with the sport? And then also, did you have any players you looked up to when you was younger? That could be local, college, or NFL.
So me, there wasn't a time that I remember that I wasn't playing football. So I mean, it's hard to pinpoint a time that I fell in love. But so I played flag football, and then from flag football I went to I actually played for Hayside because that's where my mom's from. I have a lot of family over there, and Abingdon's Little League. They didn't let, I think it was in first grade. They didn't let first graders play tackle football, but over in Hayside they did. So that was my first year of tackle football, and I think that's when I really started to fall in love with it. But
not to cut my response short, but I agree with Luke. I've just been playing it since my whole life, so it's basically all I know, and I love doing it.
So you talked about playing at Hayside. It's just before we move on, did you go there to school there for a while, or did you?
No. So two times a week, two days a week, my dad would drive me over there. I think it was like a Tuesday and Thursday or something like that, and I'd take the drive and go to Old Sand Lake and practice. But I never went to school over there.
Okay, I was curious. I didn't know if you moved at some point or not, but that's a little bit more familiar with our neck of the woods, being over at Hayside. I didn't have talking about Hayside on my bingo card for this episode, so that's very, very random.
Yeah.
Well, let's touch on the off season a little bit. What did you guys do just to get yourself prepared for the season? And Luke, I want to ask you in particular. I know you was quarterback last year, and this year you switched. So was there anything special in this off season you had to adjust, or did you not know until season started?
Well, I really didn't know, but last February I played 7-on-7 with a lot of guys from around here, a lot of the Lebanon guys, Mike Reese and Toby, and that was the first time I'd ever, well, other than seventh grade, that was the first time I'd ever played wide receiver, and that was just kind of like the fundamentals, and we had a really good coach, and he taught us how to, just the basics, outside inside releases, and reading the defense and on routes. And then I went to a couple of camps this summer, but I went for more of a DB. But I mean, it's kind of the same, footwork and stuff. But those helped me a lot. But
I think during my off season, I tried to put on as much weight, as much mass as I could. I tried to stay in the gym, tried to stay conditioned. I was out working footwork, every day we could. Me and Luke, we'd go throw out the practice field and just work on the basics. And we just stayed consistent all summer. So,
we have, I don't know if you guys know Peyton McClanahan. He was a senior when we were freshmen, and he's at UVA Wise, and he was a wide receiver, and now he's a tight end. But he's came down a lot and helped us to get our footwork right, and helped me a lot with the the position change to wide receiver.
Leading into the season, y'all being 3A, playing in the district of 2A, is it? Is the goal going into the season, win your district? Is that like a lot of teams, it's kind of their thing, win district first, and or is it kind of, are you looking at your 3A games, like not really looking ahead, but what's y'all's early goals going into a year?
Well, I mean, got to win district first, and that's what we think about, and that we have the early Christiansburg game, and that's kind of a preview of what our postseason is going to look like, and I mean, that's all I can really say. But I guess like postseason wise and preseason, like regular season, I guess I mean, Mountain 7, it's pretty good. Ridgeview and Union and Gate City, those teams are they're really good, and they prepare us really well for our postseason. And I think a lot of people take it as we're a 3A playing 2A teams, but we play some pretty good 2A teams that are just as good as those 3A teams that we're gonna play in the postseason. So
yeah, and I mean, I think the goal is always to win, of course, but Coach Ambergy, he always tells us, the games it's just practice for later on in the season. So it's practice for the playoffs. You just got to treat every single game like you got getting better for what's to come. So
Yeah, and so far, I mean, this year's been pretty good. I think y'all are 6-1, a lot of good wins. I think that was it. Christiansburg was the first time y'all beat them in a few years, wasn't it?
sure,
And yeah, so it's been an impressive season. But just from each of you, how much do you think you guys have grown, and in what ways have y'all grown since the season started?
we've grown a lot. I'd say one thing is there's a lot of seniors. There's 20 some of us seniors, and there's a lot of those seniors that I was friends with, in the past couple of years, and throughout Little League and stuff. But I've gotten a lot closer with a lot of them, and I think we're more becoming brothers, and even the younger players are in that brotherhood, and we're all one big family right now. And
yeah.
we're going to get closer and closer each game, and that's how we get better.
Yeah, I think we had a great example our freshman year. That senior class, I mean, they were so tight knit, and they went all the way to semifinals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Semifinals, and yeah, we had good leadership from them, and we just got to try to carry it on. I mean, we've all grown up together, we've all played ball together our whole lives. So yeah, we're really just brothers going out there. So it's awesome.
I've never been to a game at Abingdon. For whatever reason, I never made my way out there. I don't think. I vaguely remember I know I went to an Abingdon game once. I'm not sure where it was at. If it was it's one of y'all's playoff games several years ago, but I think it was an away game. But kind of give us for people like me, what's a Friday evening, Friday night like in Abingdon? Do y'all have a lot of fans get together tailgate, or is it not really for you all, but just environment for the fans there? Walk us through what it's like on a Friday in Abingdon.
Well, so our field house is if you've never been to our stadium, it's kind of like a valley. So our school's up on top of the hill, and that's where our locker room is. So when we walk down to the field, we actually walk through the stands, and we walk down down the stairs of the stands, and we walk out to Enter Sandman. So it's just really, I get goosebumps every time. I've done it a lot now, and every single time I still get goosebumps. So and then we run out through a big falcon. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think we've definitely got a great community. They support the heck out of us. So our stands are always full, especially at home games. And I think our stadium is one of the best around. I love it, and just blessed to play in it.
I like it because I've talked to a lot of other people, other players who have played there, and they don't like playing there because it seems like if you play football, you understand this, and some fields just seem so much bigger than others. And our field, it just seems so much bigger. The actual field part just seems so much bigger, and a lot of people don't like that. So it's when I talk to a lot of people, they're like, "Man, I hate playing I hate playing at Abingdon." So that's good to hear.
Right.
Yeah, that has to make you smile just a little bit.
Yeah.
You mentioned Coach Amberg a few minutes ago. I want to give you a chance to kind of speak on him and the whole coaching staff.
He's a good dude. We love him, and he thinks a lot about everything that he does, and he's very particular in what we're gonna do each week. And him and all of the other coaching staff, they're a team too. So every week after every game, they get together and they plan what we're gonna do the next week, and they're a brotherhood too. And then they bring it to us, and then it's very it's very cool to see we'll see something that we want to do, like a play that we want to run, or a defensive coverage or something, and we won't even have to say it. They'll already be on it, and it's cool. It's
I just appreciate all the time they put in, all the work they put in. I don't know how many hours Coach Nunley has watching film. Probably don't want to see those. But and we got a couple new young coaches, which it just brings more energy to the practices and everything, and they're just a blast to be around most of the time, of course, but blast to be around.
What are any kind of traditions, like you kind of mentioned, walking down the bleachers and the stands? I guess that would be considered one. Obviously, it's coming out to Enter Sandman every time you said. Any other traditions or things like that that Abingdon has that maybe goes back a good ways?
Can you think of any?
We always say a prayer before the game. We all give glory to God. Blesses us with capabilities to go out there and play every night. So all glory to God, and He blesses us with these abilities. So we love to pray.
How long is this Enter Sandman? Is that recently, or is that kind of always been a thing for a while?
I mean, it's as long as I can remember.
I think it's
come to the games. But
I think it's been as long as Tech's been doing it. We've been doing it. So.
It's been a minute then.
Sounds like I need to get me an Abingdon shirt and just be an Abingdon fan from now.
Amen.
Both of you guys are probably two of the most dangerous playmakers in Southwest Virginia. Y'all kind of do it in different ways, but what's each of your mindset when you go into a game?
I mean, win. That's a good one.
Yep.
And to take it play by play, don't think about the next quarter, the next half. You take it one at a play. Leave the last play behind you. But
I think it's all confidence. Confidence helps a lot. Mindset helps a lot. I know my freshman and sophomore years, I was more of an insecure football player. I was a little more scared, but I really worked on over the off season, over summer practice. I really worked on becoming physical and got my confidence up. And now I just go out there and have fun and do what I need to do.
This is my last question as far as just football related stuff, but Cameron will continue that important stuff. But all right, so pregame, you got your headphones in, you're working out, something like that. Anytime, what are y'all listening to? What's playing?
Well, I listen to a lot of like rock, so I like Tool and Alice in Chains and kind of that kind of style. And then you got to mix in there some rap, so I'll go with some Glorilla.
Glorilla's good.
That's kind of the tunes right now.
Amen. I love to listen to a little bit of Deftones, and if I really need to get hyped up, I might pull out Poker Face by Lady Gaga, but that's only on special games. So, but yeah.
So you pulling it out this week?
I might have to. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I might have to.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of a good lead-in because this may be his answer to this question. So I'll go ahead and ask it. If you were fighting in the UFC, what would be your walkout song?
I'll have to go with Enter Sandman because, I don't know. It's not even the song, but the vibes that I get that when that song plays on, even if I'm just in my car or something, and I get those chill bumps like I'm getting ready for a game or something. But I think that'd be it for me.
I'm probably gonna go with Cherry Waves by Deftones. If you haven't heard it, check it out, especially in the gym. It's a great song. I think it would get me my adrenaline pumping. So yeah.
I'll have to check that one out. So when we talk about the roster around you a little bit, I'm going to give you this opportunity to kind of shout out anybody on your team.
There's just so many that they can't really pick one or two.
Yeah, it's hard.
That stands out. And I'll give them this one. We have a middle linebacker. He's a sophomore, and he played JV last year, and he's kind of a smaller kid. He probably weighs, I don't know what do you think he is?
I don't know. He's probably 160.
Maybe less.
Probably
less.
Less.
He's playing middle linebacker, and he's 15 years old, and he's our leading tackler, and probably our best defensive player, and he's amazed a lot of people this year, and we're just really lucky that he stepped up and is playing the way he is.
Yeah, he's and every time he makes a tackle or makes a play, he just gets up. Just gets up. It kind of reminds me of like Michael Myers.
Yeah.
He just gets up and walks back there and
doesn't
does
say
it
a
again.
word. Doesn't say a word.
It's wild. But yeah, we got a lot of athletes. I mean, it's hard to name them. Like we've got 20, I think it's 22 seniors on the roster. So it's just hard to pick a handful out of those studs. So I mean, I think we just got a whole team of athletes.
That's a good answer.
I'm gonna go back off football for a second. All right, so pick between one of these or these three. When it comes to ice cream, you going chocolate, vanilla, or other?
If it's not cookies and cream, I probably won't eat it. I'll go down to ice cream stop and if they don't even have it, I just don't want anything.
Me personally, I'm a big Superman guy. If you know, you know. But between chocolate and vanilla, I'm definitely a chocolate guy. So.
Okay. And Gatorade, Powerade, whatever kind of sports drink it is, which is your favorite flavor?
Cool Blue.
Cool Blue. Only right answer.
Hey, Jamor, have you been to the ice cream stop in Abingdon?
I don't think so.
You stop by.
Yeah, I lived out there for 2 years, and I remember when I first moved out there, it hadn't gotten the building that it's in now, and it was just a little. Well, you probably remember it, how small it was.
Yeah,
and
it's
I mean,
still open. That one's still open. There's actually 2 of them now.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know that. So it used to jam traffic up like bad. I mean, it was
still
a heck of a place. So yeah, it's good though. So
recommendation. Sorry, recommendation. If I go Friday, what flavor should I get?
Cookies and cream. It sounds like Superman.
Cookies and cream for him.
If they don't
the
have
only
it,
answer is Superman.
Superman. So
they don't have it in Superman.
I would say I'll get one of each, but I just don't feel like those would go together. So I may flip a coin or something.
Yeah, let's walk into the game with one in each hand. That work.
Bring us one too, please.
Yeah, let's talk about this week's matchup a little bit. Not to give away too much, but just some keys to the game.
I mean, we know they're a good team, and we're lucky that we have 2 weeks because we had a bye week last week.
Yeah.
So we're lucky that we get 2 weeks to prepare for them and to practice on them, just them. And I think that gives us a good advantage because an extra 4 days. But
yeah, and we've been working a lot of defense, DBs, getting a lot of work this week. They got a good quarterback. They got some good receivers. So, and they throw the ball a lot. So that's what we've been working on a lot. We've been working a lot of zone, man. Just been repping it for these past 2 weeks, getting ready for it.
I don't know if y'all play any other sports or not, but let's just say there were no sports going on. What would you all be doing in the evening or whatever? What's y'all's hobbies? What do y'all like to get into?
Hopefully I'll be working.
Amen.
But other than that, I mean, I like to golf. I've actually just got into golfing this past summer, and I'm not very good at it, but it's fun.
Yeah. Preferably making money, like he said. We like to ride dirt bikes. We ride dirt bikes. And yeah, if we're not riding dirt bikes, we're making money. So there you
go. Yeah. Jamor was a pretty good golfer. He wouldn't admit it, but
I'm really not. I was gonna tell you I didn't just start, and I've been playing for a little bit, and I'm still not very good. So, but I do. I keep going back though because it seems it's fun every time, no matter how bad I play. So
I only have 2 more questions. The first one, just kind of life after high school. Do you have any plans, like play college ball? Is there any recruitment going on, or do you have something else in mind?
I've been back and forth a lot, but I think, now that it's towards the end of the season, looking back, and I think I'd really like to play another 4 years, or maybe more, because these days. But but I don't know where, but I'd like to.
Yeah, I agree. Given the opportunity, it'd be a blessing. Considered track for college. Just whatever comes, weigh my options, and if I don't want to do sports, I'd probably go into trades, weld, electrician. Just once again, making money. There you go.
This will be my last one before for Cameron's last one. But for me, I just wanted to tell y'all, I appreciate y'all taking time out of your schedule and the day before. I'm sure y'all are busy preparing and stuff. But just want to wish you the best of luck this week, moving forward the rest of the season. I hope y'all stay healthy. And my last question is, any superstitions that it don't have to be buck before a game, but that's kind of what I meant. But in general, any superstitions y'all got?
For me, I have to wear two socks, like two pairs of socks.
He does wear two pairs
at all times, whether it's like practice, game, but I have to do it in basketball too. I think that one's more weird, but football and basketball, I have to wear two two pairs of socks at all times.
I think my superstition is ibuprofen. If I don't take at least about 6 to 8 ibuprofen, it's not going to be a good night.
6 to 800 milligrams.
No, 6 to 8 ibuprofen.
That's probably too much.
But it gets me through the night. There you go.
It's been a recipe for success so far. So I just want to echo what Jamar said. Yeah, we appreciate both of you coming on. Huge game this week. So it definitely means a lot taking time and coming here and chatting with us. And it's been a blast. So our final question, and we ask this to everybody, is just your biggest motivation that you carry out there with you.
Mine would be my family. It's always nice to look up in the stands and, they always bring a crowd. I always have 15 to 20 people up there supporting me. And my dad, he's probably loves football more than anybody that I know. And, he's played high school, college, semi-pro. So he's, probably played more football than anybody too. And so I know he misses it, and it's motivating to me to go out there and play. So I know that he's playing through me. So it's always nice to, for me to do good and to make him proud.
Right. And I got to say the same, family. Just seeing your family in the stands, your dad hyping you up all week, telling you what he expects from you, your grandparents in the stands, all these people just coming to watch you play. It's motivating. And playing for the Lord, I like to give credit to the Lord in any platform I can. And he's blessed me with football, and I try to glorify him in any way I can. So, that's what motivates me.
Yeah, great answers. Mar, do you have anything before they get off?
No, just nice to meet y'all. I'll probably be over there Friday, so looking forward to watching it. But yeah, like I said, good luck to y'all and moving forward, and keep up with you.
Yep, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys, and just good luck Friday, and we'll send Jamar over there and see if he can get some ice cream.
There you go.
Thank you.
Expecting it.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Yep, thank you. See you.
All right, back here again, guys, with our second interview of the night. We got Gate City's running back, Walker HILLMAN. What's up, man?
What's going on, guys?
Not a whole lot. We're going to start, man, just how we usually do. When did you fall in love with the sport? And then also, do you have any players that you looked up to? And that could be local, college, or professional.
Man, I've been playing football since before I can remember. I started about right before kindergarten, and I've been playing. I played up from Pee Wee all the way up, and I never thought anything about it. And I've always looked up to. I went and watched a lot of Gate City football, and I watched some other teams. And, there was running backs for me, Tyler Parks and Luke Reed, and Mickey Rogers, Stan Rogers. They were a bunch of greats, and I've always just looked up to them and tried to fill in the footsteps they left behind at Gate City.
Yeah, I mean, growing up there in Gate City, there's a couple programs around the area that could, maybe rival that. But as far as histories go, you have a real deep list of players pick from to look up to. One of the most storied, programs, and some great players have come out of there. What's that like growing up in Gate City, knowing the history of that football program, and just knowing that one day you're going to be in it?
It's really a crazy thing to sit down and think about. That's all people have ever talked about. Is how great Gate City football is. How it's a big talk of the town, and a lot of people have a lot of faith in the football team, and they come out to watch it every Friday night, and they come to see a show, and it's it feels nice to have that on your back, and people are wanting to see you. And as a kid growing up and watching that, and then now being in those footsteps, it's just a crazy thing to think about, comprehend.
We're going to touch a little bit on off season before we get into the season. What did you do this past off season to get better going into this year?
Me and my guys, we were just always in the weight room constantly. We had early morning workouts, and we were just all trying to get there and make sure we were there every single day and not take any days off. Just really trying to grind and, be better than we were last season. Just always take forward steps and never fall back in, and just keep pushing and working and growing stronger just so we could have a better season and improve on what we did last year.
So, going into your season a little bit, it's kind of been up and down at times. Some crazy moments, I'm sure. And in a second, I want to talk to you about the Union game in particular, because I know there was a lot of craziness going on that day with everything going on. But before we get into that, just tell me how much you guys have grown this year, and in what ways have you grown as a team?
Coming off of last year, we lost a lot of seniors and stuff. Pretty much our whole offensive line, a really good leading quarterback. So we had a lot of big shoes to fill, and it took some big steps, and it was slow coming through the beginning of the season. But guys filled in and took huge steps that we expected out of them, and it was a nice thing to see the younger guys step up and make plays. And, we grew more confident as the season went on and grew closer together and just built up good chemistry.
Being in the mountain or playing in the Mountain 7, year in, year out, that's basically a gauntlet every year from top to bottom. There's usually no bad teams. There's just much better teams, and then there's, everybody else. It seems like there's not bad teams usually. Just kind of speak on that, I guess. Do you have any, what's it like knowing every week you're going to be tested? The challenge that playing in that district brings, and in your opinion, you don't have to be set in stone, but for you, who is your biggest rival in the district?
It's a big thing. Our biggest rival, it's always been talked about. Back then it was Gate City, Powell Valley, and Appalachia. So now it's, I feel like it's Gate City Union, and that's the biggest thing that everybody talks about. That's the most crowd anticipation. But yeah, there's not really the Mountain 7. It's just a powerhouse of a district to be in. There's not a week that you can go in and take it off. Be sure with every rep you take, and just nothing you can't underestimate anybody, because they're all good football teams, and just everybody's competing hard, and I like that. I like it that way. It's just you can never have the chance to take off. You always just got to be looking forward and keep pushing.
So, just touching on the Union game a little bit, I know it didn't have the result that you guys wanted, but I think that you all played them probably better than most teams that that did this year. Just walk us through that day, because I know that was right after the aftermath of the hurricane, and if I'm not mistaken, from the outside looking in, was you all on the way to play, and then had to, like, the power went out or something, then you had to go to Dobbins Bennett, or just walk us through that?
Yeah, man, it was definitely the strangest day I've ever had for a football game. The whole week leading up to it, we weren't expecting the hurricane weather, so we were getting ready. We knew there was going to be rain coming, so we were getting ready for a run-heavy offense. We weren't going to be able to pass the ball, and that's what we expected out of them. Both teams have good running support, but yeah, that day we got out there, and power had just been coming back on. Just got power back in Gate City, and about 5:30, or no, it's later than that, about 6:30, right when we're getting ready to, go out there, and we got back into the field house, all the lights cut off on us, and we were sitting out there. Everybody was outside, talking. Union was across the field. All of them were talking. We were just sitting there, waiting on a decision to made to see what we were doing, because it had been talked about before we might be going to a different stadium or Dobbins-Bennett if the power didn't happen to come back on. But we expected it to, and it did. And then when it cut off on us, last minute, we just had to load the buses on the side of the road and, just head to Dobbins-Bennett, so we didn't have to push that game back any further, and we could get it done.
Was it hard to? I mean, it's got to be weird, being ready and then having to sit and drive again. I know it's not like a really long trip, but it's it's still you're in this mindset. Then you got to get on a bus and go somewhere else. Is it hard to get back into a mindset, or was you able to just kind of stay focused the whole time?
It was strange to think about, but I feel like we got back into a good mindset, and we had our mind set on what we were wanting to do, and that's the score shows that we were, we fought hard. We just came out on the wrong side of the deal, and that's just how it is sometimes. But yeah, I felt like we got back into our mindsets after we lost it a little bit, wondering on all the confusion and stuff going on.
Yeah, and I'm sure that coaching had a part to play in getting you all back straight, like mentally. And I want to talk about coaching a little bit. Just speak on your head coach and then the staff around him.
Yeah, that's one thing about Gate City, man. We've always had, great coaches in hand. Coach Housewright, he's got the best staff around him. He wants to get the job done. He always keeps our mentalities right. And all of our coaches around, we got a good offensive line coach, good defensive coaches, good offense coordinator. I mean, they all do the best they can. They put in so much work and, time out of their days, and they put so much time away from their family to, come and join our family. And it's just like a big brotherhood that we created. And, it's all, everybody's giving everything they got, and they just do whatever they can for us the best they can.
I mean, everywhere's got their own things. I would imagine Gate City's got to have a few, and I think I've heard people talk about a few of them, but whether they be long-standing traditions or things that just here recently that, new teams have started, what are some rituals or traditions at Gate City that somebody didn't know anything about Gate City would be something you'd tell them?
Gate City's always been about pride and tradition. It's been a thing since before I was here. And, but one of the things we started about 2 or 3 years ago was it was called Above All Else. And that means you're putting football and your team above all else, before personal stats, before anything. It's all a team sport. And once you realize that, you all go together and do your assignments for each other. You're just playing for each other. You're one of your brothers, so you're left and right. Not playing for anybody in the stands, just playing for everybody out on the field and giving it up your all. That helped us really focus in on the season we had ahead, and that was a big tradition that we started about 2 or 3 years ago.
So you've had a great year so far. I think you're approaching 1,000 yards, if I'm not mistaken. Last week, I think you had 2 touchdowns. Big game there. I know that kind of got crazy towards the end, but still yet had a great year. So as one of the better backs in Southwest Virginia, which I think you are, what's your mindset going into the games? Because I think at this point, going into the games that the other team is going to focus on you. So what's your mindset going into it?
There's not really much that I think about the other team. I just believe that my offensive line or whatever the other team has in store for us, our coaches have us prepared to be able to, block that, or, we can throw the ball out and I can help with pass coverage. There's not much that I think, can stop what we have prepared. I think that, we have such great players all around that they can't really focus on one specific player in mind. And, if they go one place, we're just going to go the other and get what we need to get done.
Going into, say pregame or a workout, what kind of music you listen to? What do you have in?
Sometimes I listen to a little bit of different stuff. A lot of times I'm not a big rap guy. I listen to a lot of country. But I don't know. Sometimes I just don't even listen to music. I just go in the weight room and stretch in the dark. Just get some silence.
And piggyback that question, say you were at a fight tomorrow night. UFC, your walkout song, had to pick one, what would you go with?
Stumps everybody.
I don't know.
You can think about it throughout the rest. If one comes to you, you can let us know.
Alrighty.
So I want to talk about the roster around you a little bit. I want to give you an opportunity to kind of shout out some of your teammates, anybody in particular, or it could be more than one.
I mean, man, there's a lot of people that come to mind when thinking about, key players and to our success and good leaders. On the defensive side, first thing that comes to mind, Mason Hickman. He's been a leading middle linebacker since his freshman year. He's always been able to make big plays and just be able to help keep our defense together. Bryson Smith, he's an outside linebacker. He's taken in big steps. Me and him stepped in together about the same time after an unfortunate injury. But, I think he's stepped into that position well and, been able to make plays. Zane Reed, he's a new quarterback, young guy. I had a lot of pressure onto him coming onto this season, a lot of pressure from the fans, had to perform. We had a pretty good quarterback last year. Coming off of that year, as a freshman, that's a lot of pressure. Our whole offensive line, man, they get the job done. They have my back always. I wouldn't be anywhere without them. I wouldn't have any rushing yards if they get cleared away. We got a lot of good receivers. Man, there's so many people I could talk about, man.
Do you have any superstitions to game or practice or anything in general?
I actually do. We write like Bible verses and stuff on our wrist tape, and for some reason I always write it because I feel like it has something to do with something. But I always write it on everything on the same exact wrist, and also I wear the same pair of spandex every game. I don't know what it is, but if it works, it works.
Yep.
Have you ever forgot or got the wrong ones before the spandex? Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah, one time in middle school, I wore the wrong pair of spandex, and I ended up getting a concussion that game. But I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
You got to stick with it then for sure. Dog.
Yeah. I want to talk about this week a little bit against John Battle. What are some keys to the game in this one?
They've in years past they've had good run game. They've been able to pass. We just want to focus on shutting them down quick on the defense and being able to go out there and lay the first punch on offense and score pretty quick. But we can't underestimate anybody. We can't underestimate them. They're a good football team. We just got to go out there and want it.
I'm probably done with my football questions. Cameron will have some more, I'm sure. I got a couple here real quick, some random ones. Talking about ice cream, chocolate, vanilla, or anything else?
Ain't on vanilla.
All right. And if you got a Gatorade, Powerade, whichever kind of sports drink, what's your favorite flavor?
I like the good old Powerade Zero purple. Powerade Zero is good, but if I was going with Gatorade, I'd have to go with red.
Solid choices. Yeah, like J. Moore said, I have a few questions left, more football related. But first off, I think you've kind of touched on it a little bit already, but just speak on the community over there at Gate City.
Yeah, I mean, I personally feel like, having a good community, strong community behind your back, just helps a football team so much more than, what people think. Having the fans cheering you on and just, especially at Legion Field, people talk about how much it's so different in the atmosphere. And, a big positive crowd for the home team can absolutely change a game. It can get momentum running. And, community, we have parades and stuff, and they're always out there to support every single one of them. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that they're always going to have our back. And, we're going to show up somewhere and they're not going to be there to support us.
Stepping away from football aside and maybe any other sport you play, like taking sports out of the equation, somebody wanted to get to know you. What are some hobbies or, things you like to do outside of sports? Say a weekend, what would we find you doing?
Man, last summer, me and my buddies, we really got into, golfing. That became a big hobby of ours. I think that might just be a thing with, getting older. But we happen to end up golfing all the time on Saturday, or not golfing, but bowling all the time on Saturdays. kind of made us feel like we were getting really old, you know. And we all just another really old thing we do is we sit down and we all play rook. Yeah, we just all like to get together and just have a good time.
That was
Okay,
your alley there, Jay Moore.
I'll say first of all, he shouldn't even mention getting old yet. But yeah, you're right on. Those are all great things. I'm not great much of a bowler, but golf and rook are two great answers. That's rook is so underrated. You don't. That's people have forgot about rook. I feel like, but that's a great answer. So yeah, I think that's just the thing that you don't see as much anymore as you used to. But I can't believe he said getting older thing. He's made me. That's why.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. That's a great answer. Do you your favorite any courses around Gate City prefer to play?
You know, we always play at Scott County Park, you know, because it's right there in town. We all have memberships there, and we like to go there. And then a lot of times when we feel like spending a little bit extra money, we go over to Graysburg and play around. They got unlimited golf after a certain time.
I've played at Scott County Park before. Nice little place.
So I just have a few more. I actually didn't have this one wrote down, but I have to ask. We mentioned it to Gunner last year during basketball season. Your all social media team is insane. I love the quality of stuff they put out. How does it feel as a player to be able to go on social media and stuff and see some of the highlights and stuff they're dropping?
Oh yeah, man, I think it's pretty awesome. You know, Coach Zeke Newton and Coach Noah Jones, they really stepped into the role with social media, and you know they helped get it going, and they got students that could could understand that kind of stuff on their team and just building it up. And, you know, we just now got a class started, you know, by Coach Jones. It's a sports media class, and so kids can learn about that, you know, maybe branch out to other communities and get them to other sports teams, you know, just to help get that up, because I feel like that, you know, can help boost a team or motivate a team more, you know, when they can see they're not always seeing the bad, they can see the good that they're doing and the good plays they're making.
So I want to touch on a little bit. I don't have maybe two questions left, but life after high school. Is there any like recruitment that started, or if not football, is there any other plans that you have after high school?
I've wanted to play college football since I was a little kid. You know, that's the dream. And you know, we started recruitment a little bit ago, but the degree I want to go into is I want to go into like exercise science. You know, that way I can have like maybe a sports background, so I can always be around sports, because it's just a big part of my life that I don't really want to let go of. So but yeah, the dream is to go play college football somewhere.
I don't really have any more questions. I know Cam's got one left we usually end on, but before we got you off here, I was just going to say, nice to meet you, man, and good luck the rest of the season. Good luck, moving forward and everything you continue to do. Appreciate your time, and like I said, just good luck. Stay healthy. Look forward to watching y'all play. But that's all from me. But I just wanted to let you know, we appreciate it, and I don't know. We got to get to a game at Gate City at some point. I don't know if it'll be this year or not, but we got some reason we've not been there yet. But looking forward to seeing how y'all do the rest of the year, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, man, you gotta get out there. That atmosphere is crazy. Just appreciate you for having me on here.
And I told you before we got on here, we were talking about the field and stuff. Somebody has told me that it's one of the best around here, the atmosphere. So yeah, just kind of echoing what Jamar said, we definitely need to get over there. And before I ask the last question, I also want to tell you thank you for coming on. Like I said, we followed you even last year with you and was it Bledsoe was the quarterback? Is that right?
Yeah, Luke Bledsoe.
Yeah, so we covered y'all a little bit last year as well. So it's awesome to have you on now. We kind of finish all our interviews with the same question. And it's the biggest motivation that you have or that you carry with you out in the field.
It's probably my family, and God. I feel like God plays a big role in, everybody's lives. And, you just got to thank him for, giving you the ability to go out there and play the sport, and, giving us all the time and just the right health and, the athletic ability. And, it's also a lot of it's a lot of motivation to have your family and just know they're out there to support you. My mom and my dad, not missed a game ever in my life. You know, my papaw and my mamaw, my other papaw, they always come out there to support me. And I just have a lot of people that come out there to, show their love and care. And it's just a big motivator.
Great answer. And yeah, just what Jamar said. Good luck this Friday. I pray that everybody stays healthy for the rest of the year, and we're excited to see what you all do this year. I think that your best is ahead. You all seem to be. I mean, it seems like every year, even if you start to struggle a bit, by the end of the year, you've kind of grown so much that you're a force to be reckoned with when it comes to the playoffs. So we're excited for you, man. We wish you the best.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I think my UFC walkout song would I don't know, it have to be something old like Johnny Cash or something.
That's a
something
great.
B.
That's a great answer.
It's a great answer. There is a song that has people use as a walkout for Johnny Cash. I can't remember what it is. Has the slow beat as you go in.
Run on for a long time. How it starts out.
Yeah. I forgot what the
Cut you down.
Cut you
down.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's a good one. Yeah.
That's a solid answer.
It's a great answer.
Yeah. All right, man. We appreciate it.
All right, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back, guys. This is our Week 9 preview and picks. Our guest picker this week is former Hurley standout and now assistant coach Patrick Henry. That's Mr. Austin Cooper. What's up, man?
How y'all doing, fellas?
We're doing
good. I want to officially go on the record of saying that Austin, I don't know about all time because I didn't get to watch anybody before a certain amount of time, but I can remember seeing the best, if you want to say all around you can, but the best basketball player to play at Hurley High School. I want to go on record of saying that, in my opinion.
Thanks, Damon.
Yeah, and you and your brother and Waynick, that's a heck of a team. That's whenever I was in high school. So, yeah, a lot of great memories there. And at some point during basketball season, hopefully, we'd like to get you on there and, just kind of go over your career and all that as well. Right now, talking football. Before we get in our Week 9 slate, though, Jay Moore, you said you had some shout-outs you wanted to do real quick.
Oh, yeah, I just want to say happy birthday to a few people. In-law's birthday was today. Rick's over at HONAKER, seen his birthday was today. But main one, my dad's birthday, so I'm not sure if he'll listen or not, but I want to give him a shout-out. Big fan of the show. He tries to listen as much as he can, but happy birthday to him. I just want to throw him out there.
Yep. Happy birthday, Bobby. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and start with on battle, 0-7 at Gate City, 4-3. Something I forgot to do before we get started on this. Every week we throw out the fake sportsbook lines that Southwest Virginia Sportsbook does. So, throw that out there. It is fake. Nobody's making money off this that I know of. But Gate City is a 34.5-point favorite in this one, according to the sportsbook. We had Walker on before. We got you on Austin. Great kid. The team's been up and down so far this year, but I think they're kind of turning it on at the right point. If they can just kind of forget that second half last week and go for what they did in the first half, it should be pretty good. The way we'll do it is I'll go ahead and say my pick, then we'll go to you, Austin. You kind of say your piece and your pick, and then we'll go to Jay Moore. But I'm going to go ahead and pick Gate City. I have them winning this one 36-6. John Battle's just not having a great year this year. I think a lot of young kids, some injuries have plagued them. So I'm going with Gate City in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I think I'll go Gate City. I think Coach Hess has got a good thing moving over at Battle, and I think a few years under his program, maybe they can switch it around and start getting some wins. But I'll definitely go Gate City this week.
Yeah, so you got them not covering then, right, Cam? According to your score.
Yep.
Yeah, I got them covering. I think they'll cover. I think it's in the 40s. I'm not sure about pulling subs out late in the game if Joe gets on the board or not, but I got them covering the spread this week.
Yeah, I kind of had them, maybe taking their foot off the gas at some point, but I don't know. After last week, they were up 35-7, and it kind of blew up there at the end. So they might not take their foot off the gas. I don't know. Let's go to this next one here. And we got AI Burton 1-6 at Castlewood, also 1-6. Burton is a 16.5-point favorite in this one. Burton's had a tough year, but their schedule's been pretty rigorous. I mean, In a game like this, that could make the difference. I think they probably had this Castlewood game circled, throughout the year after the way their season's been going. With that being said, I'm going to pick Castlewood to sneak up on them. I have them winning 18-12.
Could be a close game. We played Burton obviously earlier in the year. Their quarterback, he can play, man. And I think he's one of those difference makers in a really tight ball game that can swing it one way or the other. So I'm gonna go with Burton.
Yeah, I've picked Castlewood the last 3 or 2 weeks, and they won one and lost one. I was thinking about going with them this week, but I think, like you mentioned before, I think the schedule that Burton's played already, I think it's, got them kind of prepared for some close games and playing better, good competition. I don't think they covered the spread. I think Castlewood sit within the 16 or wherever you said it was, but I think it's a close one. I think Burton gets.
Next matchup here is Chilhowie 3-4 at Rye Cove 7-0. Rye Cove is a 23.5-point favorite. Rye Cove, I think they're coming off a bye week, if I'm not mistaken. Right now, probably the best team at the moment in Southwest Virginia in 1A. They've just been rolling off that win against Eastside. That was, I think, 40-8, if I remember the score right. They've just been dominant. I think the way that Chilhowie plays in the games that I've watched, their strength, the way they play, is somewhat goes against what Rye Cove's strength is going to be. And I think the line of scrimmage is going to be a big factor in this game. Unfortunately for Chilhowie, I think they're going against one of the best lines in the state. I have Rye Cove winning this one 50-16.
Yeah, I think Rye Cove gets the win here. I think Coach Sturgill will come in and be prepared and ready to go for them. But like you said, Eastside's playing on a different level than anybody else right now, so can't really go against them. But I would definitely go with Rye Cove in this one.
I mean, I'm a fan of the Eagles over there. Got a hat sent to me, so I was waiting for this moment, but here we go. Shout out for the hat.
If I'd known you had it there, I would have had a bigger build-up for it.
Yeah, well, trying not to be, biased when we do these, but, it's hard. I mean, people send you hats. You got to, what I mean? So, but I appreciate it. It's a good-looking hat. I'm pretty happy with it. So, shout out to them for sending the hat. Yeah, I mean, Rye Cove's clicking. I almost felt like this could be like a trap game almost, but I don't think they're going to look ahead. I think they're going to be in the moment and get it done, take care of business Friday. So yeah, big win I think for them. Too strong up front and defensively, just I think a little too good. Looking forward to getting over there again at some point. But again, shout out, thanks for the hat, we appreciate it.
That's a nice hat. Yeah, so let's go to this next one here. Tazewell 4-3 at Giles 2-5. Tazewell's 20.5-point favorite in this one. I wanted to give a shout out to Carter Creasy. I think he is number 1 right now ever in the state of Virginia for passing completions. I don't remember the exact number, but I remember he passed the likes of Trace McSorley that played, I think, for Penn State there at one point. And I can't remember, passed somebody else as well. But he's number 1 now, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's a few other records that he could probably get by the end of the year. I have Tazewell winning this one, probably at 28-12. There's Tazewell still, I think, is struggling sometimes when I don't think I wouldn't expect them to. Austin, I did want to ask you, because you was employed over there at Giles for a little bit, and that's not a place I've been to. I don't know if J Moore has. Whenever you go into yours, just kind of tell us about Giles a little bit too.
Yeah, man, Giles is one of those communities, it's kind of like the Friday Night Lights movie. The town shuts down every Friday. People are always there. I coached there for 6 years under Coach Williams, running the single wing all the time. So it's a great place, man. And the kids are great. They work hard. They get after it. And they're a young group. So I do feel like this team that they have right now is going to end up being, pretty good next year. I know they've taken some tough losses this year, but, just coming off a win against Galax last week, which is huge for them, a big confidence booster. But it's a great community, great school. The tradition is high. They've ran the single wing forever. They want to keep running it, which is great, and the kids really buy into it. They start when they're in second grade and run it until they're seniors in high school, So once they came to us on the varsity level, it was just teaching, steps, getting through it. They already knew the offense, you know what I mean? So that's how they've always been able to have success. They built that from such a young age all the way through their varsity career, and it kind of it turns into wins. It just rolls over from year to year. This is actually an interesting matchup, man. We went down there last year when I was at Giles, and Tazewell laid one on us pretty good. The quarterback, the Creasy kid, is just, he's a playmaker. Ball's in his hands, he's going to do something good with it. I do feel like Giles could be sneaky in this one. Coming off a big win against Galax, I feel like they're kind of starting to hit their strides a little bit. We were all excited about this group that they have right now. So, knowing those kids and knowing what they can do, I think if they can establish a line of scrimmage and keep the ball on offense and keep it out of Creasy's hands, that they got a chance to take it. So I'm going to take Giles in a close one on this.
Yeah, I think the spread. I think Tazewell gets them. I think Giles does cover the spread though. I'm with Austin. I think this is kind of a, it's not a long trip for Tazewell, but it's kind of a maybe overlooking game. And I think Giles, if they can move the ball, like control the line of scrimmage a little bit and run some clock, I can see them keeping this close for at least for a little bit. I want to pick Giles. We have Austin here who worked there, and Marty Smith is like my favorite person ever, one of my favorite people ever. I'm a Giles player, but I can't do it. I'm trying to keep this. I don't even think we're keeping up with our records and picks, but out of principle, I have to go with with my gut here. So I'm gonna go with Tazewell.
Yeah, I think. To y'all's point, Giles could give them some trouble because Tazewell struggled with Grundy's run game. I've not seen Tazewell play this year, but I've heard the line that they have is huge, but they haven't been playing quite up to the potential that they have. So you're coming against a team that knows how to run the single wing and that's confident in what they do. That could give Tazewell some trouble. So it is
played against Giles my freshman year, and Coach Jones was actually, we've talked about him a lot. He was actually the defensive coordinator that year, and you talking about going through a week of preparation, learning this key to watch this thing, to watch this person. If he goes, you go. If he doesn't, you literally, it's like you don't have to. You almost play a spot and not follow the ball. Almost is what way he did it. Like, if because you can't keep up with where the ball is at. It's just, I was playing DN. You basically have to play that spot, and then if something happens in your area, you take care of it. If not, then you're not gonna have a chance anyway. And go well. Needless to say, it wasn't a good night, but that's my really own experience with that was that game. I've never been to a game down there yet, but I know I thought you'd appreciate that because I don't know if I ever told you that or not, but we talk about Coach Jones a lot on here.
Yeah, and those few years, Giles was that the teams that were going far in the playoffs. Because I was thinking around those years is when I want to say they gave Richland so much trouble.
I don't know what they were doing. I know that night they played. They had no problem with us that night, which we weren't very good anyway. But I'm not sure what they did on the year. But yeah, I think it's back when they were pretty tough. For sure.
They've got like 4 state championships. It's one in each decade. They won one in the 80s, one in the 90s, one in the 2000s, and one in 2013. So
yeah, I was thinking
they've had that constant success moving on.
Yeah. Before we get off this, just because I just thought about it, I'm not trying to give away Coach Padgett's secrets or anything like that, but is there a lot of similarities between the Giles offense and Coach Padgett? Has that been a good transition for you?
Yeah, it's actually been really easy. So it's a lot of carryover. He's got a good little single wing look and some packages in there that obviously I was able to come in and understand pretty quick. But I think Coach Padgett does a great job. He's a very good offensive mind, and he can put us in situations to outnumber people or get us in space quick. And then if he needs to go between the tackles, he knows that stuff too. So it's been really fun to coach under him and learn kind of the way he does his offense because, like I said, he's always going to find some way to put us in a good position to get yardage and break a big one. So, but it carries over a lot from the single wing that I was used to at Giles, and then moving over to seeing his offense. There's a lot of stuff that's pretty similar in both of them.
I was going to get to this next one here. Marion 0-7 at Grundy 3-4. Grundy is the 11.5 point favorite, and I think that line. If you would ask me, like probably towards the beginning of the year, I would have said it would have been a little bit bigger because of, I thought Marion, I didn't think they had much this year. And yeah, they are 0-7, but there's been a few games this year they've kept it close. Tazewell last week, I know that it was, a lopsided victory in the end. They kept it close with Tazewell for the first, half or so. Same way with Graham. They kept it close for, a little bit over a quarter. They have something there. I just, I'm not sure, that's going to show up by the end of this year, maybe going into the next few seasons. But I have Grundy winning. But I think it could be a sneaky game. I have Grundy winning, though, probably about 26-18. Be a close one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I think Marion is a little bit of a sleeper. I think, people overlook them because of their record, but, they got potential to be there every Friday and make games close. So you always have to look at that. But I do think, Lester from Grundy is just going to be a difference maker like he is every week, So I'll take Grundy to cover the spread on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Grundy. If I get really lazy this weekend and not to go to Abingdon, I may just run down there and watch this game. But yeah, I don't know about, like you said, that, Marion's kind of can't really look at record when it comes to the, some of these games. They've been in them for a while. And honestly, Grundy, a few weeks ago, I would have said Grundy by a lot in this game, but they kind of, Hurley's better than what I thought, but the score last week against Hurley kind of threw me a little bit. It only being 27. Not sure if that was just Hurley showing up and putting up a really good, effort there. If it was Grundy, maybe, I don't know, coming down off of a high of early in the year. I think it's just kind of one of those deals. Late in the year, you're not going to always have those explosive games. I think Grundy wins. I think I'm with you. I think it could be close. I got it more of a 2-touchdown game, Cam. I think than. Or not, I think you said 12, but I have it like 14-16, maybe even 20. But I think that trip from Marion to Grundy is going to be, it ain't a difficult trip, but it is a little bit lengthy. So I'm going to go with Grundy.
Yeah, before I go to the next one, we were at the Patrick Henry and Grundy game, one of the craziest games I've ever watched. Being a part of that game, I talked to Coach Padgett that week, and he said that last year's game that Logan just took over, and so obviously that was a priority this year. And things happened the way they did, and he had a heck of a game again. So just being on the sidelines there, how was that? I mean, because it was back and forth both ways. I mean, everybody was scoring.
So we went into halftime thinking that we had control of everything, and we didn't really want to change too much up because we thought we did a pretty good job in the first half. But just the explosion of our offense, and then Lester doing his thing, it's fun to watch. That's fun football. As coaches, we love defense because defense, is the most important, and we win games from the defensive side. But if you're there watching a ball game and seeing an offense on both sides of Grundy and us playing offense the way we did, I mean that's fun, And but Lester's one of those kids, man. No matter how much you game plan, how much you try to take him away, he's going to find a way to make plays. He's one of the best athletes in the area, one of the best athletes in Southwest Virginia. You put the ball in his hands, he's going to do something good with it. But being on the sidelines and watching it, obviously from our side, we get frustrated, because we're like, how does he keep running the same stuff and breaking through the line and going for 70 at a time, But on the flip side, we were able to do the same thing and kind of control it. But it was definitely fun to watch. It's fun to be a part of,
We'll go ahead to this next one. Galax 0-6 at Richlands 0-7. So somebody's going to get a win this week in that one. Richlands is actually the -2.5 point favorite, according to Southwest Virginia Sportsbook. So that's a big opportunity for Richlands this week. I've not personally got to watch Galax this year. I know, we watched them play in the playoffs last year against HONAKER. I know they lost a lot. They lost that running back they had. I think the quarterback was supposed to come back. I thought he was young. I don't know, if they had any injuries or anything like that this year. I do know what Richlands has, and like I said, they've struggled this year to even put points up, but they're kind of learning a new offense, a lot of young pieces. I think maybe 2 years down the road, we're going to see some of that pay off. But man, I want to go with Richlands, and I do want them to win this game. I'm going with Galax. I mean, the program is still the program they have. And I know this year's been kind of tough, but they also play in a pretty tough district out that way, and they always play a tough schedule even outside their district. I think they played Graham, if I'm not mistaken, this year already too. So I'm going to go with Galax. I'm going to go 26-18 for them.
Yeah, this one's a tough one. You know, like you said, Gay Lakes has a tradition. You know what the program is. You know what the kids are going through daily. But, you know, Richlands had that. They're trying to build it back. So I think Gay Lakes is going to be more ground and pound coming at Richlands. Can they stop that? I think that's going to be the difference. Gay Lakes still has the athletes, I think, to cover, you know, kind of what Richlands is trying to do. But I think at the end of the day, it's just going to be too much, you know, smash mouth football for Richlands to be able to overcome. So I'm going to take Gay Lakes as well.
With Richlands, I think they get one this week. Don't ask me why, because I really can't tell you why, but that's what I'm going to go with. So hopefully they get their first win on the year. I think in a style of game it is. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's just less for Richlands to have to prepare for. It'll have to be a low scoring game. I don't think Richlands is going to put a lot of points up. They just, for whatever reason, can't figure that side of the ball out. Defensively, you know, not like they're stopping people either. But if Richlands wins, it'll have to be a low scoring one. Maybe like, I don't know, 10 to. I don't know if anybody can even kick field goal. Let's say like 12-8 or something crazy like that. You know, I mean, if it gets high scoring, I definitely feel like Gay Lakes has the advantage there. But I don't like saying it, and I don't know that I ever will again. At some point I will, because I got some friends that live out that way. But go Big Blue, I guess.
Hey, I mean, Gay Lakes, I don't know if they still have that field goal kicker, but isn't that how they won the state championship last year?
Yeah, I forgot about him. It will be okay. So
it's like a 40-yarder or something, right?
12-10.
Yeah, I think it's pretty
12-10.
impressive.
Richlands will score late. 12-10.
Okay.
Richlands, yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So we're gonna kind of race through some of these right here. Hurley 1-6 at I hope I'm saying this right. Tulsa 5-2. I don't know much about Tulsa. I know this is I think the fourth team that Hurley's played in West Virginia. You know, Hurley's been having some bright spots this year, and like you said, the Grundy game. I don't think that's saying as much about Grundy as it is, you know, Hurley's been improving. I'm going to go with Hurley in this one, 26-18.
Yeah, Tulsa's tough. We played them when I was in high school. We played them in basketball. You know, they're kind of the same thing, tough-nosed school. But one thing about Hurley's, they're always going to show up. You know, no matter, you know, what they have, they're always going to show up. And obviously, you know, it's a big part of me and my coaching career, playing career, you know, all of that. So I think they have some pieces. I think the freshman that they're playing at quarterback right now, I think he's got a chance to be pretty good. They got the duty kid at receiver and plays DB. So I think Hurley has a chance to compete. Breaks my heart to pick against them, but I do think that Tulsa will get them this week.
I love that he's going with actually going with them, because most people, because like I said, we're not keeping up with records. So most people would have just lied there and said, I like you're keeping it real and going with. Yeah, I appreciate that. You said you all played them. How far of a trip is that? Ain't it like a really long way?
It's a long way, but we played them in that EQT Classic or whatever at
okay.
When I was in high school in basketball. So we didn't actually go to Tulsa.
Yeah. Where's this one at, Cam? At Hurley or at Tulsa?
It's away. It's at Tulsa.
It's away. Yeah. That might be the deciding factor, because it seems like I remember somebody telling me it's a really long trip. So I'm gonna go with Tulsa on this one. Hopefully the Rebels can go up there and prove me wrong and get one and bring it back. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Tulsa.
We said we want to speed it up. I wanted to ask you something, Austin. Did Zach play with you, or is it right after you?
It was right after me.
Okay,
so actually, my first year coaching, Zach and them were.
I was trying to think. I thought I played against him, but
he may have been a freshman when I was a senior. I can't remember how much younger Zach was than me. But we were close. We were close to the same time there. But he wasn't like with their group, you know, coming through.
How do you think? You played under Coach Tester. How do you think Zach's doing over right now?
I think he's doing a good job, man. You know, he's battling the numbers game. You know, like it always is around home, battling the numbers game, and it's hard. I can remember my last year there before I went to Giles. You know, every drill we were running was half line, you know, or going against air. That stuff's hard, man. When you try to go on a Friday night and compete and you can't see anything in practice during the week, it's hard to get results out of it. So I know he's battling that, but he was actually on my staff at Hurley. So he done a great job when he was on my staff. When he coached under me, he coached offense and defensive line. He's knowledgeable. He knows what he's doing. So, you know, I feel like he's doing a really good job. He's just in the same situation as everybody is. Hurley, Twin Valley, you're battling the numbers game. You're trying to do the best you can with what you have. And I think he does that to the best he can.
Yeah, I think he's a great guy. We had him on before the season. Great interview we had with him, and I've seen a lot of positives over there. I won't drag you down memory lane too much with talking about the cliff and all that. We'll wait and see if we can get you on for episode about your career and stuff. We'll definitely dive into some of that. So speaking of numbers and struggle numbers, rear view 5-2 at Twin Valley, 1-6. Another team, as you mentioned, kind of struggles with numbers. They did get their first win. I don't think it was last week, but the week before. So that was great for them. We don't know a whole lot about Riverview. Maybe you know more. We hear that they're a pretty solid team out that way. So I'm going to go with Riverview 40-18.
Yeah, I'd say you're pretty close on that. Riverview's always got those tough-nosed kids over there in McDowell County. We always played them when I was the head coach at Hurley. They beat us in triple overtime over there in 19. But they're good kids. A lot of kids will come to Hurley. Some of our kids even go over there. So it's kind of the same thing, but they're always pretty solid. So I would take Riverview pretty big on this one.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Twin Valley can match up. They got a few games on the schedule this year circled that they will be able to match up in. This is probably not one of them. News is for them, I think their last 4 games this year were all at home, so they don't have to travel very far here like that. So that's one plus. This week probably not the week, but hope so. Again, just like Hurley. Hope to prove me wrong. Hope I find out they win Friday night. But I'll pick. What are they over? Are the Raiders?
Raiders.
Pick the Raiders. Go Raiders.
Yeah, I forgot to mention, but these few games we have here, them kind of going through, they didn't have the lines for those, but we'll get back to the sportsbook lines when we talk about our main 3. Actually, I got one right here I forgot to mention. We got Y Central 2-4 at Lee, 3-4, and Lee is a 6.5 point favorite. Before I get into, shouting out this particular player, I'm going to let Jamar do the honors. Well, I think you have a few words.
I just want to go over the week that this guy's had. Almost 500 yards passed from Friday night and almost let it come back to beat Gate City. So almost 500 yards. Then the next day goes to the Alabama-Tennessee game. I think I seen all this on Facebook. I'm assuming goes to, I guess, the SEC game day show, whatever they got with Tebow and Feinbaum and all them. Has pictures posted, meeting all them, the Tebow and all that. After the game, I guess they stormed the field. A part of that has pictures on the field, and I'm assuming pictures before the game of when Tennessee's walking in with coach and players, a bunch of different things. So all that. And then this week, fresh off the clock, gets Brad Johnson in to give him a shout out. Former NFL quarterback Brad Johnson, to give a shout out to him for getting their player of the week. So that in a few days, so like just a incredible week, which probably the highlight of this whole week was probably starting the week off with us being on our show. So I just want to shout out to him on a crazy week, but I think we got him a good jump start there on a heck of a week. That's crazy line. I guess a lot of crazy things happened for him there.
And to clarify, we're talking about quarterback for Lee, Brendan Pendergraft.
Sorry, I guess I should have said that.
No, you're good. Which was our guest last week. And I was sitting here thinking while we were recording, I might have to go back through and kind of look at all the players, but a lot of the players after we've had them on have had pretty decent weeks.
It's got to be something. But I just wanted to point out that had to be the highlight of all that was being with us, right?
I'm sure, yeah. We'll have him back on for basketball season and see if he agrees.
Yeah.
So
y'all can get Alex Brown, PH's quarterback, on next week.
There you go.
Oh yeah, yards, you can go ahead and put him on next week.
Yeah, if I start researching that and there's any truth to it, it's like the reverse Madden curse, just more of a good thing. We'll have everybody wanting to come on. We'll have coaches calling us left.
Well, last year I feel like last year it might have been different, opposite. I think last year we probably might have been blamed for some bad performances. It felt like, but
I don't know about all that.
this year, I think I think we have turned a luck around this year, and they do seem to be better after the interviews this year. Last year, it did get kind of. I almost started feeling bad for having people on last year.
I don't even remember. I
You
remember
don't
most
remember?
of them were.
You don't remember a couple of those games that like I just individual players playing bad, but kind of
Just the teams
just the
itself.
teams
I
that
mean,
probably I felt like they always lost
Yeah.
after they. Yeah, but I think this year it's been okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. I remember most of them were HONAKER last year because they were. I mean, we were just getting started and they were winning quite a bit. We had a good speed on from Patrick Henry, and I think he had a pretty big game that following week too.
Yeah, maybe
But
I'm misremembering it, but
basketball season might be pretty accurate.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember. But anyway,
Hopefully, yeah.
I'm going with Lee in this one. The line was 6.5 for them. I think whatever it is, they figured it out in the second half against Gate City. That's probably about the best loss you could have if there's such a thing. Being able to kind of, turn it on there at the second half and just to know that you can do that even against a quality opponent. So I have them beating Y Central. I'm going about 42-21.
I would agree, almost 42-21. That was the score I was had in my head. But, Lee's quarterback, dude. Like, what else can you say? Anytime you get a chance to have a quarterback like that on your team, you're always going to have an opportunity to win. So I'll take Lee.
I'll go 42-21 also, I guess. Just make it a three-peat. But, yeah, another big night for them. A lot of points to be put up probably. That brother combo is pretty good one apparently. A lot of receiving yards for his brother in that game against Gate City also. I think almost 200 maybe of the almost 500 that led. So, but yeah, I'm going to go with Lehigh.
Yeah, and mentioned his brother. I think that I may be wrong, but I know that Brennan for sure broke his own single game record school record for passing yards. And I think his brother, maybe it broke the receiving touchdown record for them in a game, I think. I had to go back and just verify that. But I know he did break some sort of record. So a huge moment for them, especially being in the same household and, knowing, right down the hallway, you and your brother you both breaking records and putting up numbers. And I know Brennan, I think he graduates this year. So, these things, they'll be able to kind of keep going forward.
That's, sorry, real quick. Went to get Mark on. I had some nights like that I'm sure Austin and Tyler put up some huge numbers, and that's got to be a cool feeling as a dad, especially him coaching. Have watch your two be on the field at the same time or the court at the same time. That's got to be really cool to see them like really shine and put up huge numbers. But any nights in particular, Austin, you sticks out that both of you all put up huge numbers? Or
I wouldn't say anyone sticks out in particular, but we always, both of us usually had, pretty good nights. It was rare for us to be off on the same night, or if one was, playing a little worse, the other one would pick it up. So, but like you said, I'm sure it was awesome for Dad, to get to experience that. Now, he wouldn't give us credit at the time, but if you look back now, he may go ahead and give it to us. But it was definitely, and it was cool for us, to be able to play for him. And, we butted heads a lot, but that would be actually a good little session for y'all, just to get him on here and let him tell some stories about, kind of how it went for him. He's hilarious anyway, so you know how that would be. But
yeah, he's definitely one of them we want on as well.
I want to talk to him about the Whitewood. Hear more tell some of the stories. I want to actually hear some stories. That's what I'm not sure what we can put on here, but I'll talk to him for an hour before we ever start recording. I want to hear some stuff.
He'd tell you some good ones, I guarantee it.
So we got Twin Springs 3-4 at Hancock County 0-8. Twin Springs, as we've mentioned before, is battling the injury bug this year. Probably got about as many injuries as my 49ers have right now. But I think they're going to come away with this one. Coach Warner's a heck of a coach. And, programs like that start having these injuries and get low in numbers. We talked about HURLEY and Twin Valley with low numbers. It doesn't go – I don't think it gets appreciated enough, the coaching jobs that these coaches do in situations like that. So just give Coach Warner a shout-out. I have them winning 21-12 over Hancock County.
Yeah, Coach Warner will have them rolling, man. He's a great coach, like you were saying. And, he does a great job. I've always had a lot of respect for him, but Twin Springs, easy for me.
You know how I feel, Cam. This has been a week-to-week thing. And I just want to go on record. This has nothing to do with anybody currently at Twin Springs, no players, nothing like that. And really nobody, no fans. It's just, I have no ill will towards any of them. It's just it's a rivalry thing. It's a thing that I have. So you know that I do not want to pick Twin Springs. I do not. And me having a Rye Cove hat on even channels more of that same energy. I do not want, I just, it feels wrong to do it in this hat especially. But I think Twin Springs goes and gets a win this week.
That was a heck of a build-up for.
I thought so. I
I
didn't want to pick them, but I gotta. I mean, I know 0-8. I mean, I know Twin Springs is got a lot of injuries, but I think Coach Warner is going to have them ready and figured. It might be a real close game, but I think he'll have enough figured out and got them playing enough ways to pull that one out.
Yeah. Just got a few more games before we end it. We got Eastside 6-1 at Thomas Walker 5-2. I kind of think that this could be a one of those trap games we talk about. I think Thomas Walker could surprise some people here. Eastside having that game a week or two, well, about 2 weeks ago, I guess, against Rye Cove. I do think Eastside is well equipped to make it pretty far in the playoffs. I think they had the talent, they got the coaching staff. But Thomas Walker going over there, I think this could be a sneaky game. I still have Eastside winning, but I think it'd be like 21-18 in a close one.
Yeah, I think it's got potential to be close. I agree. We scrimmaged Eastside early in the year. Up front, man, they can play. They're tough. They're a really good football team. So I'd go with Eastside in this one. But like you said, it does have potential to be close. But I think Eastside definitely pulls away.
Yeah, I'm with y'all. I think first half Thomas Walker maybe has a lead, maybe first half, but an inside source told me that Eastside's defense coordinator is very good at adjustments, so they make those adjustments second half. I think they come away with a win. May even extend it out to a pretty good lead, but I think at first half, I think it'll be a good back and forth. It does feel like a real trap game for some reason. I don't know why, but it does have that feel to it. But yeah, I'm going to give me the Spartans.
And I've heard, don't know how much it is to it, but I've heard their quarterback is a little bit healthier now. I don't know if they're still going to roll with the young kid or not. I think last week he came in for maybe a play or two. So I don't know what the situation is there and how that could affect it. But we've got 3 games left. They're the biggest ones. This next one here, Austin, you don't have to, like I said, pick it, but we're definitely going to talk about it. We got Patrick Henry at HONAKER. Patrick Henry's 3-5. HONAKER's 4-3. The Southwest Virginia Sportsbook has HONAKER as an 8.5-point favorite. So last year, these two teams met twice. Both great games. I think they ended up, HONAKER ended up knocking PH out of the playoffs. We were at that game, Jay Moore. Just marveled at how the line of scrimmage would operate and move. We talked about it with Barrett when we had him on. We were just mesmerized with all the pulling and stuff. That was one of the games, at least I first noticed all the stuff that was going on with y'all's offense. PH had a lot of health and stuff issues this year, injuries, but every single time y'all have had somebody go down, somebody stepped up, and I think y'all played very well. Whenever it gets to you, I'll go ahead and make my pick, but just I know you ain't going to pick it, but just some keys and stuff to watching this game without giving away too much. For my pick, I'm going to go with PH, but I think it's going to be a very close game. And I think it's going to be one of those games as coaches that y'all are going to want to pull your hair out because I think it's going to be super high scoring again. I have the game PH 46, HONAKER 38.
Yeah, I obviously won't pick, but there's definitely things to watch. I'll just start out, with HONAKER. When you got a quarterback like Music, you always got to be ready. He can. I feel like he's running the ball better this year than he was last year. So he's got that threat that's even better than what it was in the past. He still throws the ball extremely well. He's got his brother out there that's running jet sweeps, catching tunnel screens or catching deep balls down the field. So anytime you have 2 dynamic kids like that, you always have to be extra prepared and ready for that. Offensively, I mean, we kind of do what we do. You guys know that. We don't really change up much. We we believe in what we do. We believe in what we have up front, and feel like that we can move the ball against anybody and have a chance to beat anybody because of our offense. You know, sometimes our offense can be our best defense because we can keep, you know, people off the field, and you know, we're pretty dead set on that, and that's the way we feel like I said, we can beat anybody that we play just because of that. So, you know, offensive keys doesn't change. Defensively, you know, obviously we'll focus on music, but they have playmakers everywhere, and we know that. We hope it's not a high scoring game. But I kind of agree with you. I think it's going to be a shootout, and hopefully that, you know, we'll be able to control the ball on offense and keep them off the field and do the things that we want to do, you know, pretty smooth.
You know, it seems like over the last several weeks or early in the year for sure, it felt like HONAKER wasn't trending in the right direction. It felt like we kind of even talked about it. I think like week 3 or 4 that, you know, they played a tough schedule starting out, and they're getting better and getting better. And it does seem like the last few weeks they seem to just be chugging along, you know, doing what they need to do, getting better and better. Beginning of the year, y'all healthy. Y'all were in my top 4 teams in the region. Like, you know, I thought y'all were easily like I would have been a bit surprised to see y'all in the region finals after watching the early year. Sure, injury bug wise, you know, y'all like it's not just it's like key injuries y'all have had. Y'all healthy. I pick y'all to finish in the region. Not sure what y'all's health situation is right now. I still think y'all have a very good chance going over there and getting a win. It's just the styles, you know what I mean? Like y'all's running game. It just seems so, from the outside looking in, for me watching it, it's one of the most complex. You got 2 guys pulling sometimes. You got people pulling opposite ways. The ball go this way. I mean, it's you know, it's great to watch. I just think your running game, at the end of the day, I think you all keep the ball out of their hands enough to win this one. So I'm gonna go with PH. I do feel like it might be kind of high scoring. I don't know that not extremely high scoring, but I feel like there'll be some touchdown score on both ends. Sure, but I'm gonna give the nod to the Rebels this week.
Yeah, and this is a very important game, I feel like, just when it comes to playoff seeding. And, you know, we had talked about HONAKER, I think the other day, Jay Moore. You know, depending on how this game goes, you know, I think they'll beat Northwood. The Rural Retreat game, I feel like that's another game that could be a toss-up. And, I mean, this game and the Rural Retreat game could be huge, figuring out where they're going to go.
Yeah.
And then to the same point of with PH, 3-5 right now, I think. And,
We're 3 and
this
4.
is a huge game. And then was it 3 and 4?
3 and 4, yeah.
Yeah. For some reason, Max Preps has that scrimmage listed.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw that.
Yeah, but 3 and 4. But anyway, you have the HONAKER game, huge, and then you have actual Howie and Northwood, and the actual Howie game could be, you know, kind of close too. I think y'all got Northwood, but this is a huge game for both of you guys when it comes to seeding. And you know, just to speak on what you said about Peyton, I didn't mention it there before, but he had a huge week last week. I think he had maybe 5 touchdowns against Narrows. And I'd hate to see his fantasy points against Narrows over the last 2 years because it'd be insane. Yeah, they've got a good thing going too with him and Avery and Jackson Dye. They've got a lot of good young pieces as well. But I don't know what time I have to be somewhere with my son there Friday. Depending on what time I get back home, it's not a very far drive for me, about 2 minutes up the road. So that might be where I'm at Friday night. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Austin, you can correct me if I'm wrong. You all are sitting at 8 right now in playoff points.
Yeah, I think we're sitting at 8 currently.
I think HONAKER's at 4. So I mean, you could almost have, depending on how this one goes. This, like you said, this is a huge swing, and I would almost guess that there are some teams sitting up in the 1 and 2 positions that probably pulling for y'all to win this week, so just you can get off of that line of 7 and 8. Because I don't think anybody wants to see y'all week 1. For sure, but talking about Peyton and Narrows, I bet he's probably put up, or HONAKER's team has probably put up more points in just Narrows games than a lot of teams put up in a year in those 2 games. Like those are always high scoring for some reason. As a side note, there, Cam, you mentioned that
over 100 points, I think, in 2 games. Right?
Yeah, it was like 70 something and 40 something. Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, that's a big playoff game this week for you all. shuffle a lot of people around. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. So we got our last 2 games here, and a co-game of the weeks. The first one up, we have Lebanon 7-1 at Virginia High 4-3. According to the sports book, Virginia High is a 3.5-point favorite. Lebanon's coming off a crazy game, and I just want to talk very briefly on it because I mean we can't just go past what happened last week against Graham. We were at that game. I mean, Jamar was. I honestly think that was Lebanon's game. Not that I doubted them, I guess, but Graham's Graham, so you're always like you have to see somebody compete against them to know that they can do it. I thought that was their game to win. A lot of things played into that. I think Graham made some good adjustments. Their quarterback was struggling. Second half, they had I think Gabe Lilly, I think's the kid's name, put him at quarterback in a Wildcat situation. Kind of changed things up. That helped them. Chris Edwards, I think is the kid's name, number 8. Me and Jay Moore said the whole game, do not kick it to him. Like we just knew. Because he was making all the plays on offense, even in the first half, off of screens and such. He had that kick return. Maybe he could have turned the whole game around with that. Then it came down to, Lebanon still had a chance to come and take the lead towards the end. They were driving, and Reese hit the receiver right there in the chest, bounced off his chest pad, and just went right into Graham's DB and scored a touchdown. That kind of was probably the backbreaker there at the end. But with that being said, I just wanted to say, and I said it on Facebook when we put the post out, and I told Jamar, that was one of the best quarterback performances I have seen, maybe in all the games I've watched. I know they lost, but he was on his back, I think, every single play. And I'm not saying anything bad about their line because Graham's D-line is just special. Maury Hill, I think he had 6 sacks in that game. But like I said, if you was to do some kind of next-gen analytics or whatever that we don't have access to, I'm sure that there was somebody back there almost every single play on Reese. And some of the windows he fit those balls into were just insane. Kudos to him, even though it was a loss. This Virginia High game is going to be very interesting, I think. I think it's going to be important when it comes to playoffs and seeding. Virginia High is a very talented team. They locked down Tazewell a few weeks ago. They played very well against Graham, even amidst all the stuff going on with the hurricane. I think Lebanon's going to come off of that. I mean, it really just depends on how Lebanon responds. Like, do they respond with a letdown, or do they take that Graham game like they should and be confident going forward, knowing that they can compete? I'm going to go with the latter. I'm going to go with Lebanon to win. I have it 28-26 in a close one.
Well, obviously, we played them both. We started out the year against Virginia High and then played Lebanon the next week, actually, so back-to-back. Both really good football teams. I do think that Lebanon has a little bit of an edge on Virginia High. I think Mike Reese is just, like you said, he's special. I mean, what else can you say? Like he puts it in windows. He can throw a 50-yard fly route on the dime. You just don't see that a lot. Single A, double A football. So I do think that Lebanon has a little bit of an edge as a better team. I know Coach Patterson will have Virginia High well prepared. He always does. He does a great job. But I'll give the nod. To Lebanon here.
Yeah, I think this is going back to last week. I think the interception you were talking about, I think that was actually the first one that gave them the lead. The backbreaker was the one on the other end in the end zone on the slant. Right, yeah. But again, just really, I mean, I don't want to say lucky play because it was great awareness by the Graham guy, but how often does one hit you and it bounce basically instead of bouncing down or on out of bounds, it bounces basically straight back into the dude's arms? Like it's just one of those terrible luck situations. Lebanon's D-line was what I thought, not just D-line, but linebackers also. But I thought that was the key. That's where I kind of doubted them being able to really put up that much resistance up against Graham. I thought Graham would be able to run the ball better in between the tackles than they did. Shout out to Lebanon's defense for basically taking that away and then basically covering the edges. They did a great job. Again, Graham's passing game. I'm sure Coach out there, Coach Palmer, I'm sure he wasn't thrilled with how that went the first half. So they gotta have to address that. But yeah, Lebanon showed up, and I think Reese, I mean, he's accurate everywhere, but easily the best deep ball thrower that around here that maybe I've ever seen. Like his deep ball is like it's about as accurate as you can get. He can sling it a long way too. So like, I mean, he's good at all of it, but particularly what sticks out to me is his deep ball down the field. And they made a few of those plays against Graham. That was big. That was huge to keep them in it. I think Virginia High the same way. I think they'll have to have some big plays. I think they can defensively. Virginia High is probably not as good as Graham's front, but still a very good challenge. Still good defense. I'm going to lean it with it being at Virginia High and them coming off the loss to Graham. I'm going to lean just a little more for Virginia High, but I think it could be an instant classic. I think it could go right down to the wire. Maybe the last team with the ball wins it. I think it'll be a great game. But I'm going to go with the Bearcats.
Yeah, and before we move on to the next game, penalties was a big thing too. I know that we have a lot of people from Graham that follow the page, and I think that was one of the things that was spoke on quite a bit afterwards.
Yeah, a lot of penalties.
Yeah, a lot of penalties.
And a couple of them in particular, I mean, I'd have to go back and watch the film, obviously, but a couple of them kind of be like, hey, I don't know about, you don't see it. I'm not saying that anybody's right or wrong there, but yeah, a lot of penalties.
Yeah. Well, I want to say, just to add on to the Reese thing, when you're talking about deep ball throwing, he's also probably one of the better quarterbacks I've seen under, pressure throwing. Like, I've seen some of his best throws this year were when he was on the run or about to get hit. So that's another, I guess, feather in his cap. But also props to Coach Norris for his first year and already you're competing against Graham and probably a game they probably should have won maybe at times. And they get a lot of these guys back next year. They get Reese back. They get Baker back. I think they get the Boyd kid, back. I can't remember the other one's name.
I think they're 14. The boy, I think he's a senior.
Okay, he might be a senior. But they get a lot of them back, though, next year. I also want to give a shout-out to Graham's coach, Coach Palmer. He was on last week. Great interview. We love talking to him. I forgot, and I didn't notice until just now, but I forgot to mention Graham plays Pulaski County this week, and I don't know if you guys know anything about Pulaski County because I do not, but just for the sake of picking it, because I forgot to put it on there, I do have Graham winning that one in a close one, I guess. So
you want a close one on that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say Graham big.
Yeah.
I'm going to go loud and talk me into it, Graham big.
Yeah. Well, all my info on Pulaski County, that swayed me. So, but yeah, definitely shout out to him. So, final game we had. I'll go ahead and tell you, is Ridgeview 7-1 at Abingdon 6-1. Ridgeview is a 6.5 point favorite. We had Luke on and Owen at the beginning of this episode. Great interview, probably one of my favorites. I mean, they were just great kids to talk to. Huge playmakers on the field. Owen's probably one of the better backs you'll see in the area. And then Luke, I mean, he's one of those guys, as soon as he touches the ball, you don't know what's going to happen. I highly doubt they kick to him any. I think they kind of learned from, I think it was a Christiansburg game this year where he had 2 or 3 return back. Might have been another game. I think it was Christiansburg. But yeah, it's going to be a really fun one to watch. And you mentioned getting out there to that one, Jamor. I don't know if I'll be back in time to make it to that one. I might make it down here to HONAKER, depending on what time I make it back. But that will be a treat to watch. There's going to be all kinds of talent on the field. Quinn for Ridgeview, the Baker kid. I think they got a few more receivers. And then all the talent that Abingdon's had. And Abingdon's been, I think, tested a lot this year. They've had some pretty tough games. I think the only loss they had was Tennessee High, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to go with Abingdon in this one, 38-36. I think the schedule, what they played, the fact that they're tested a little more than Ridgeview is, I think that's going to pay off.
Yeah, I do think this is going to be a really good football game. Like you said, Abingdon's played some tough games. The Christiansburg win sticks out big for me. Being from Giles the past few years, knowing what Christiansburg has, that's a really big win. Not an easy one to get, one I didn't expect them to get, to be honest with you. So that one sticks out a lot. I do think Ridgeview has a lot of playmakers. It could get interesting, man. I think it's going to come down to maybe who has the ball last and who can score. But for some reason, I'm going to go ahead and give an edge to Ridgeview in this one. I'll take Ridgeview.
Yeah, I'm really torn in this one also. I don't know enough about Well, man, I know a little bit about both of them, but like I'm not watched either one of them play. I'm kind of with Austin. I think maybe who has the ball last wins this one. I'll just give a slight edge maybe on the physical side of it to Abingdon. It's been bigger, maybe a little bit bigger team, being a 3A team, have planned maybe that schedule and going to Christiansburg and winning, or maybe it wasn't at Christiansburg, but beating Christiansburg. I'm gonna give a slight edge to Abingdon, I guess, or maybe they get the ball last. I'm not sure why, but I'm gonna pick Abingdon, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if Ridgeview wins this one. I'm gonna go with the Falcons. I also want to go back real quick, talk about Lebanon, Virginia High again. This is also a huge playoff point game. I think Lebanon's at 4 right now, and Virginia High's at 6. So this could possibly determine maybe who hosts or doesn't host one. The big one to keep an eye on as far as playoff points.
Before we end this, I do want to. Well, I want to say one thing real quick about the Abingdon game and Ridgeview. That game is huge to me because I want to see. I feel like Ridgeview has the talent. It's been back-to-back years. I feel like, but they need to beat a team that maybe on paper is just as equally talented and tough. Kind of like Union and Graham, and I feel like we didn't get that much last year from Ridgeview, and even this year, struggling against Union the way they did, and I'm sure that was definitely not the way they wanted that game to go. I'd like to see them put up a good fight against Abingdon, and if they do win that game, it could be really important, just confidence-wise. But before we end this, since you do have the PowerPoint rankings, J Moore, if you want to just go over what you got 1A and 2A.
Okay. If any of these are wrong, I just kind of looked real quick. But in 2A, you got Graham, Union, Ridgeview, Lebanon, City, Virginia High, Tazewell, and Lee High. So season ended today, you'd have a Graham playing Lee High first round, Union at Tazewell, or Tazewell at Union, Virginia High at Ridgeview, and Gate City at Lebanon. If it won't end right now, that'd be great matchups already. So this is going to be a really good 2A. It does finally come around. There are going to be some great games in that first round every time comes. But I think there's so many games like head-to-head matchups, like anywhere from 3 to 6 or 7 all those could really shuffle a lot moving over the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Yeah. What do you have in 1A? Because you're talking about shuffling. We're going to shuffle quite a bit, I think, in the next few weeks.
Same thing. Kind of, you got that kind of a big pack in the middle. If we ended today, Cooper and Patrick Henry would go to Rye Cove. He would go to Eastside. Thomas Walker would go to Holston, and Roy Retreat would go to Honaker. So, you got basically 8 through 3 right now. That's kind of, I can't remember the total points, but that like 1 and 2, it kind of separated from the pack a little bit points wise. But you got 3 through 8 right now. I feel like could all shuffle around crazy and end up, anywhere the season's over with. I think it's wide open. That first round, that other than maybe, I don't know. I think Rye Clove's favorite, and Eastside's kind of everybody's dark, second favorite. But like I said before, a healthy Patrick Henry, Grundy comes into somebody like it's going to be a wild playoffs this year. I feel like there's nobody that's not beatable. I don't feel like.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I guess that kind of sums up everything for tonight. These next few weeks are going to be. It's going to be exciting. We'll have more interviews going forward. Some good luck to you all this week. Like we already said, in a huge game. I think it's going to be a great game to watch. I hope I'm back in time. I'll try to go down there. If not, I'll be firing it up on the TV one way or the other. But heck of a game.
I've been known to get just real lazy, so I may not drive to Abingdon. I may just head across the mountain myself. I've been Friday Eve rolls around, leave work. I might not feel like doing anything. I might take the easy route and go to Grundy or go to Honaker's. But well, good luck, Austin. We appreciate it, man. It's been fun, and we definitely want to get you back on for do like a special guest episode and really dive more into your career and talk about basketball, football, also, and everything that But
start working on your dad too. Start mentioning, because not only do we want him to be on for an episode, but we're and I can go ahead and put this out now because I'd love to hear people's feedback. we want to do in the future, kind of like how we done with Coach Jones, where we kind of sit at a table and discuss some history. We want to do that with each county school, Twin Valley, Hurley, Grundy. And so we would love to get your dad and maybe some other old heads over at Hurley just to recap the full history of the athletics before it all does close down.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate it. If you get bored, come on over on Friday. We'll hopefully put on a good show for y'all. But thanks for having me on. Appreciate all the kind words and definitely come back and do, a basketball thing, talk about anything you guys want to talk about. But really enjoyed it. Like I said, appreciate the invite. And, hopefully I'll see y'all again soon.
Awesome. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man.
Season ended right now, I guess, who I think would make it to the semifinals, I guess, which obviously that would all depend on matchups throughout the playoffs. So it's not really as basic as semifinals, but who I think are the top 4 teams. And I'm going to cheat a little bit because it's our show. I can do that if I want to. I got Graham at number 1 still. Although after watching Graham, honestly, I think moving forward, I think their passing game's got to be better than it was against Lebanon the other night. I think they got to, I'm not sure what the deal was there with that. Maybe it's normally better than that, but for whatever reason, it was off a little bit against Lebanon. Maybe it was something Lebanon was doing. I don't know, but can figure that out and mix that in, then they'll be for sure my number 1 team. Union at 2 right now. I have Lebanon at 3. I just think that performance they put on against Graham showed me enough. I think right now they're the 3rd best team. I know I picked Virginia High, I'd possibly beat them this week, but I think being at Virginia High maybe is some of that. But anyway, I got Lebanon at 3, and I got Ridgeview Virginia High tied at 4 because I really don't know enough about either one of those to make a pick. I know that's, like I said, it's cheating. I know it's the easy way out, but it's our show. We can do that. I don't care. I got Rye Cove tied at number 2. I currently have Holston at number 3. I've not seen them play either. It's just kind of going off record and like that. But we'll find out more about them, obviously, as the season goes along. They'll play HONAKER here soon, I'm sure. This is crazy. I know people are going to think I'm nuts.
I'm sorry, did you say Holston playing HONAKER?
Yeah.
Oh, HONAKER's already played Holston.
Well, I had them both 2-0 in the district when I looked.
Oh, yeah, HONAKER beat Holston. That's Holston's only loss this year.
Oh, they hadn't. Whatever I looked on, didn't have it right, I guess, or maybe I looked at it wrong. I don't know. Thought it had 2-0. But anyway, well, if that's the case, that changes my picking here because that really throws everything a wrinkle in there because I didn't think the only reason I picked them. No, it's fine. I need to get that because I don't know what I looked at, but I thought they were undefeated in the district and like I said, they're 3rd in points and playoff points. So
I think that Holston has they beat Patrick Henry. I actually have it pulled up right here. I can tell you they're 6-1, 2-1 in the region. They
2-1 in the district, not the region.
Max Prep said the region. My bad.
What's the district?
Beat Eastmont, beat Narrows, beat John Battle, lost to HONAKER. It's the only loss this year is a 42-21 loss.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, that changes everything.
They beat
okay.
They beat Hurley, beat Patrick Henry, beat Northwood. They have Johnson County. I guess actually they play Johnson County this week. I did not recognize that. So I have no idea anything about Johnson County. But I'm
picking Holston.
Well, Johnson County is 8-0.
I'm picking Johnson County. Never mind.
So I don't know. Just looking at Johnson County here, they beat Sullivan East 53-7. They beat Pigeon Forge 29-15. Pretty good teams, right? I feel like.
Yeah. See, the problem with this is if I replace. Okay, I don't think Holston's one of my top 4 then, if that's the case. I went too much off the playoff points thing. So.
They are talented. I think they are everybody's. Like, if you had to give a coach of the year, it'd probably be, I think it's Coach Lark, I think's his name. Maybe wrong on that. But the head coach from Holston, regardless, whatever his name is, he would be coach of the year at this point, I think.
Yeah, but that loss to HONAKER, that loss to HONAKER, though, kind of keeps me from putting them up there. But they did beat Patrick Henry, which I know it was kind of a banged-up Patrick Henry. Go this way. I'll cheat again. A healthy Patrick Henry is my is my number 3, and maybe even two. But we'll go 3 for now. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but because right now they're currently the 7th in playoff points. But I still think Grundy's one of the best 4 teams in that region. They've beat Honaker head, already.
Yeah.
Those power points, they're not moved up none yet. So I just think, I know maybe I'm nuts for thinking that. Maybe them and Honaker are tied. Maybe Honaker had a bad day that day. I don't know. But from what I've seen, I think they're one of the best 4 teams in the region. But Honaker is getting better every week, it seems like. So maybe
did you have Eastside at 2? Or?
Yeah, I had Eastside at 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I don't know. Take your pick between hosting Honaker and Patrick Henry for 3. I guess take your pick between all those teams. Put them at 3. Give me Grundy at 4. This is our show. We can make this up as we go. Who cares?
Well, I mean, I just think the struggle you're having kind of, putting them in certain places. I think that just kind of speaks to how crazy the playoffs are going to be. We already talked about it.
Yeah, it does. And also, I've not seen Holston play. So that's what hurts me too, because I like, to not really be able to watch them in person. It kind of, I guess, limits what how I can go off that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think when I look at it, and I don't mean to really drag it on too much, but I do think that when I look at it, my personal opinion, I see one very complete team. And I'm not saying they can't lose; they could still lose, but it depends on who they play first round matchup wise. But I think Rykov is the only team that I feel confident in that first round. The other games, I think that anybody could have a bad night and lose.
Well, I think
if they got matchup against Patrick Henry, now that if everybody's healthy, that could
yeah.
match their physicality.
We don't know what Patrick Henry team's going to be there. We don't know if how healthy they're going to be, who's going to be out. That makes a big difference. Yeah, I don't know. I would almost put Eastside in that category, but again, you're looking down there, and there's a good chance they'd have to play Grundy or Patrick Henry the first round. I don't know that. That's not a lock for me at all. I think that could very easily be an upset in that first round. So, yeah, I don't think anybody's unbeatable. And even in 2A, you got Graham. I don't think any of those first round matchups for them are going to get them. But after seeing, it took, one down game, I guess you could call it, in the passing game, and being able to really get that going. They don't look as unbeatable as at one time. Obviously Union and Graham all year is what we've said. I still think that's probably the 2 teams you gotta go through. All of a sudden, maybe it just looks like the gap might have closed. I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting, but I think it's going to be a great playoff this year. It's going. I don't know how we'll pick and choose what games to go to, because there are going to be so many good, interesting matchups that we could take each week and pick out to go watch. So, but I can't wait for it, man. It's going to be really good, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, we'll just see. We're going to have to do. I know there's some things we've talked about doing. We'll have to do some unique stuff going into the playoffs. I think that it's going to be super fun. Before I got off here, I just remembered it. I was going to give a special shout out to a member of the Tailgate Talk crew. K-Dog was stood with us there at the game last week. And I can't repeat all the words that were said on this song that I listened to that he suggested. He wanted me to check out a Sweet Caroline rendition done by the West Virginia Mountaineer home crowd. I just want to let you know, K-Dog, that I did check that out. And it's a very unique version of that song. Let's just say that. So I started playing that on my phone, and my wife was sitting over next to me, and halfway through, she's singing it, of course, and halfway through it, her mouth just drops, like when she hears the West Virginia crowd chime in. So just K-Dog, if you're listening to this at the end here, shout out to you. I did check it out. So, and shout out to Tailgate Talk too. We got some things going. I'm not going to disclose all the stuff going on here in the future, but there's some plans that are in the works here in the future. So just stay tuned for all that. J-Moore, you got anything else?
Just shout out again to the. I wish I could. I should have looked up their names before I got on here, but I forgot who sent the hat. shout out to whoever, you know who you are. Next week, I'll try my best to make sure I give you an actual real shout out by name, but appreciate that. Like I said,
That's a heck of a hat too.
try to be as unbiased as I can and picking, because we cover the whole region, but I find it's hard not to be a fan. I really can't. It was already hard because it's just something about it. I don't know if it's the story from coming from where they came from. I'm not sure. It's hard not to pull for them. Now they sent me a hat too. Like, well, come on.
Yeah, I know. And it's not just. I thought it'd just be an RC on it. Like it's an
Yeah,
that's a pretty solid hat.
It's a patch. I don't know if you can see it though. It's
like
the patch burning out of the eagle. It's got a lot of detail. Yeah. It's very nice. Yeah, great colors. I mean, I'm very happy with it.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got. And we'll till next week, I guess.
Yeah, until next week. God bless.